Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 8 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 8 math and then click on the all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter rational numbers. The lessons we're going to cover today are identify rational and irrational numbers, write fractions in lowest terms, least common denominators, and round mixed numbers. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So here I'm on grade 8 math. Let's start with the first lesson, identify rational and irrational numbers. Is 3 an irrational number? Irrational numbers cannot be written as a by b. When written as decimals, irrational number do not terminate or repeat. So 3 can be written as 3 by 1, which is a fraction. So 3 is not an irrational number. Let's just start with the test questions. Is 3 an irrational number? Is 3 an irrational number? We can write 3 as 3 by 1. So 3 is not an irrational number. The correct option is no. Option number 2 is the correct option. Is 7 a irrational number? Yes, it is an. Is 7 a rational number? Yes, it is a rational number. Option number 1 is the correct option. Rational numbers can be written as a by b. Why 7 cannot? What is this? Square root 7? I think it is square root 7. Let me just see. Square root. Yes, that is square root 7. Sorry, not 7. So Square root 7 is not a rational number, right? The correct option is no. Is 8.9 an irrational number? 8.9 is an irrational number. No, that is not a. That is a rational number. Is 5.452 a rational number? 5.452 is a rational number. You can write it as a fractional form, so yet this is a rational number. Is 9 by 2 an irrational number? No, 9 by 2 is a rational number. The correct option is no. Is 2 by 7 a rational number? Yes, it is a rational number. Option number 1 is the correct option. Is 5 by 6 a rational number? Yes, it is a rational number. Option number 1 is the correct option. Is 3.681 an irrational number? No, that is not an irrational number. Okay. Is zero an irrational number? No. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. That is which fraction, right fractions in lowest terms. Right by three in lowest term. So a fraction is written in lowest terms when it uses the smallest possible numerator and denominator. So put a fraction in lowest term, find the largest number that divides both numerator and denominator. Divide both the numerator and denominator by that number. So 1 by 3 is already in these terms. Let's just start with the test questions. Write 2 by 8 in lowest term. So 2 by 8, let's just divide it by the 2. 2 is the greatest number that can divide both numerator and denominator. So 2 divided by 2 is 1 and 8 divided by 2 is 4. That is 1 by 4. Option number 1 is the correct option. 1 by 4 is the correct option. Write 6 by 8 in lowest term. So let's just find the greatest common number that can divide both numerator and denominator, that is 2. 6 by 2 is 3 and 8 by 2 is 4. That is 3 by 4. Option number 1 is the correct option. Write 6 by 9 in lowest term. So 6 by 9. The greatest common factor is 3. So let's just divide it by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2 and 9 divided by 3 is 3. That is 2 by 3. Option number 1 is the correct option. 2 by 3 it is. Write 4 by 8 in lowest terms. 4 by 8, let's just divide it by the 4. The greatest number is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1 and 8 divided by 4 is 2. That is 1 out of 2. That is 1 by 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. Write 8 by 9 in lowest term. Eight by 9 is already in the lowest term. Option number 1 is the correct option. Write 1 by 6 in lowest term. One by 6 is already in the lowest term. That is 1 by 6. Write 2 by 7 in lowest terms. Two by 7 is already in the lowest terms. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is least common denominator. What is the least common denominator of 1 by 6 and 11 over 12? What is the least common denominator of 1 by 6 and 11 over 12? So the denominators are 6 and 12. Find the least common multiple of 6 and 12. So you need to write down the multiples of 6 and 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 times 3 is 12. So you need to write down the prime factors of 6 and 12, right? The prime factors of 6 are 2 times 3. The prime factors of 12 are 2 times 2 times 3. So the least common multiple of 6 is 12. Let's just start with the test questions. What is the least common denominator of 5 by 6 and 5 by 12? So that is 12. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the least common denominator of 1 by 2 and 4? Let's just write down the multiples of 2 and 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. This is the common multiple and these are the not common multiples. 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8. That is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the least common multiple of 3 by 10 and 3 by 5? So the multiples of 5 are 5 times 1 and 10 are 5 times 2. So that is 5 is the common multiple and 2 is the non-common multiple. 5 times 2 is 10. That is 10 option number 1 is the correct option. What is the least common multiple of 6 and 3? That is 6. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the least common denominator of 5 by 9 and 2 by 3? That is 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the best least common denominator of 1 by 4 and 1 by 2? For it is option number 1 is the correct option. What is the least common denominator of 1 by 4 and 7 by 8? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to the next lesson. The next lesson is round mixed numbers. 2 whole 7 over 19. So just look at the fractional part, that is 7 over 19. If the fractional part is less than half, we need to round on the same decimal. Let's just start with the test questions. 4 whole 2 by 3 rounded to nearest whole number. So just look at the fractional part 2 by 3, right? 2 by 3 is more than half. So you need to round up. It would be rounded to 5. Option number 2 is the correct option. Three whole 3 by 16. 3 by 16 is less than half. So you need to round on the same whole number. That is 3. 75 whole 9 by 18. So 9 by 18 means that is equal to half, right? So both sides are exactly equal, then that means 75 would be rounded to. It would be rounded to 76. The correct option is 76. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is 92 whole 4 by 15 rounded to the nearest whole number? 4 by 15 means less than half it is. So it would be rounded on the same whole number 92 it is. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is 1 whole 8 over 11 rounded to nearest whole number? 8 over 11 means that is more than half. So it would be rounded to 2. Option 2 is the correct option. Write 63 whole 2 by 11 rounded to nearest whole number. 2 by 11 is less than half. So it would be rounded to 63. 2 whole 7 over 19. 7 over 19 is less than half, so it would be rounded of the same whole number. 2 it is. It would be rounded to 1 because 4 by 9 is less than half. What is 33 whole 3 by 4 rounded to nearest whole number? 3 by 4 is more than half, so it would be rounded to 34. Option number 2 is the correct option. 34 it is. What is 435 whole 7 over 14 rounded to nearest whole number? That is 436. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, we are done with the lesson. So we were working on grade 7 math. Chapter we were working on is rational numbers. The lessons we have covered today are identify rational and irrational numbers, write fractions in lowest terms, least common denominator, and round mixed numbers. So please make sure please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write them down in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So, any questions you can please ask if you have any. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.